Back here at the San Diego Sports Arena, and we're ready for the player introduction. So in order to do that, let's go to John DeMott, the PA man here in San Diego, and we'll do that right now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the San Diego Sports Arena for tonight's National Basketball Association contest between the visiting Los Angeles Lakers and your own San Diego Clippers. Let's meet the starters for Los Angeles. At a forward, he's 6'11", 8 years from Marquette. Number 9, Jim Jones. At forward, 6'6", 6 years from UCLA. Number 52, Jamal Wilkes. At center, 7'2", 11 years from UCLA. Number 33, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. At guard, he's 6'2", 3 years from Duquesne. Number 10, Norm Nixon. At guard, 6'9", 1 year from Michigan State. Magic's back, number 32, Magic Johnson. The head coach of the Lakers is Paul Westhead. His assistant, Pat Riley, and the trainer is Jack Curran. Starting for your San Diego Clippers. At forward, 6'7", a rookie from LaSalle, number 7, Michael Brooks. At forward, 6'9", 5 years from LaSalle, number 23, J.B. Joe Bryant. At center, 6'11", 7 years from UCLA, number 31, Swin Nader. At guard, 6'5", 6 years from the University of San Francisco, number 11, Phil Smith. At guard, 6'3", 8 years from Princeton, the team captain, number 14, Brian Taylor. Head coach of the Clippers, Paul Silas. His assistants, Bill Westphal and Pete Babcock, and the trainer is Larry Roberts.
We are live at the San Diego Sports Arena, and we apologize. We have had transmission problems from Southern California, and unfortunately we were unable to bring you the early moments of this basketball game in which Magic Johnson scored for the Lakers. At the other end, Jamal Wilkes fouled Swin Nader. Nader made one of the 2 free throws, and on the traveling violation by Abdul-Jabbar, you have picked up the action with the Lakers leading it 2-1. On the back door, there's Brian Taylor, who starts at the guard. Brian Taylor with Phil Smith. Up front, the Clippers will go with Joe Bryant, who will inbound the ball. He's a veteran, been around. There's Brian Taylor. You've got Michael Brooks, the rookie, and Swin Nader in the middle. There's Phil Smith, veteran, came to this club below '3. And so Phil Smith, who has done a lot of scoring for this club recently and has done a good job, gets the Clippers on top by a score of 3-2. We are at 10:51, first period, San Diego Sports Arena, Jimmy Jones. Jones of the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll give you the scoring as we get into the action. And again, we apologize for our late start as Jabbar, a little late getting there to Bryant. As Jellybean Joe will put it down for a pair, and he'll go to the line on the foul. We'll take a look at it right here.
Well, Eddie, as we take a look at it, we see Jim Jones comes across, and he gets him. Jabbar, Kareem is there a little bit too late. There's no contact by him. Bryant has a chance for a 3-point play. He's coming off a 34-point effort, and he completes it.
So Joe Bryant with an average coming into the game of 10.7 points per game. Phil Smith averaging 16.5, Nader 15.7. Abdul-Jabbar and the big man. 6-6 a tie, Lakers in San Diego. Phil Smith, Michael Brooks. Brooks, the rookie from LaSalle. Smith, the veteran from San Francisco U. Brian Taylor, Ivy Leaguer from Princeton. Nader, number 2 rebounder in the NBA. Can hang on to the hot potato, and there's the Magic Man. Clear out, Nixon, Jamal Wilkes, pump fake, no, and a reject foul.
Well, we've seen right then what is so important with Magic Johnson to get back underneath the basket and come up with a loose ball off a rebound, push it up the court very quickly to Norm Nixon. Nixon will get it over to Wilkes, and Wilkes get the rookie, Michael Brooks, off his feet trying to make the block, and he'll go to the free throw line. The ball game is tied at 2, and Wilkes can break the tie.
The Los Angeles Lakers, who trail the Phoenix Suns in the Pacific Division of the Western Conference by 4.5 games. The Lakers 46-24. Phoenix at 53-22, while the Clippers trying to do something to salvage whatever remains for a very disappointing season. They are 32-40 coming into this game tonight. Los Angeles 7, the Clippers 6. Jamal Wilkes with a couple of free throws right there. Wilkes missing one. He gets one, and he has one for the game. 7-6, Lakers by one. There's Nader. Phil Smith in the paint. Rebound by Magic. He had a bundle of those the other night in the game against San Antonio. Carrying hook, won't go down. Nader averaging 12.7 rebounds a game, goes to Brian Taylor. They got a two-man advantage. Phil Smith coming off serious Achilles damage. Jamal. Look at Jabbar with a fake on Nader. And Magic on the follow with a tip and a foul. Swen Nader trying to hold ground there to prevent the 2-on-1. And the Lakers with a 1.98 lead.
Well, the Lakers showing a lot of intensity, but the Clippers trying to come back on their own in a breaking situation. Smith takes it over the top. They push the ball right back at the other end. Magic Johnson gets fouled. He has a chance to put the Lakers up by 2 with his free throw.
Magic Johnson, charismatic, just 21 years old. And I tell you, when he lights up the building like he does all around the league, you don't need lights. He can take care of it himself. Nader, there's Phil Smith, pretty good move. I tell you, that's the Phil Smith that I used to know, and I know you feel the same way about it.
Well, Phil Smith has been playing that way in the second half of the season, really moving to the basket well as Nixon pops from the outside for the Lakers. We got a good offensive show going here early in the ball game, Eddie.
Norm Nixon averaging 16.9 points per game. Nixon is the man that stepped in to take over the point guard position when the Lakers lost Magic early. He was gone for a total of 100 days and 45 games. Here's Wilkes. As he steals a pass by Smith, Wilkes gives a running screen to Nixon. Nixon gets it back to Wilkes, and he's fouled. And another three-point opportunity coming up for L.A.
You watch the Lakers get the basket. Well, Eddie, we're seeing the Laker Express really rolling, and we've seen Magic Johnson a couple of times already back down in deep with that basketball, pushing it up the court. They've been able to get out and run as we take a look at Paul Westhead, and he's a very happy and relaxed coach right now. When they can run like this, they can beat anybody with the 7 players that they have.
Pat Riley, his assistant right there, as they work through some plays and talk over a little strategy. The Lakers have gone pretty much to a 7-8 man rotation. And of course, we talked a little bit about that at the top, and that's something that'll probably carry them in the playoffs. We'd again like to apologize for some of the technical problems we have been having with our transmission. We appreciate your patience, and we will try and get this one for you and give you all the excitement of NBA basketball from San Diego, California. All right, on the inbound, 17-10, the Lakers by 7. 8:06 with Smith going to Brian Taylor. Taylor to Michael Brooks. Nader out high to set a pick. He'll get the ball. Kareem out to check him. Brian Taylor. There's Brooks on the post-up. Pretty good young player there as he follows up. And Magic Johnson with a rebound. He averages 8.7 a game. Bowling ball pass. How about that? As he shoveled that pass off the hip to Jones. And is he fun to watch? Oh, my goodness gracious. Magic Johnson. 19-10, LA.
The Lakers forgot how easy it is to run with Magic Johnson in the lineup. He rebounds, he pushes it up.
Phil Smith, they got caught in a little 2-on-2 game there. Magic set the pick on Nader, but he didn't have to worry about rebounding on that one because the shot was good. 19-12. Pretty hot shooting ball game so far. And on the miss by LA, back comes Brian Taylor, number 1 3-point shooter in the league. And there's part of the reason why.
Eddie, I know one thing for sure. The Clippers have a full house tonight due to the return of Magic Johnson down here, and they're going to try to put on a good show for their fans so they'll return. So we're going to see a good offensive basketball game, pretty aggressive defense also.
Jimmy Jones, former Marquette player. They try and get it down to the big man. Skyhook 2. That is 21-14. And the Lakers, a team that has been shooting very well recently over the year, 51%. That's not bad. Boy, you go back 15, 20 years in the NBA and try and look for a team that shot 51%, you'd have a hard time finding it at the free throw line.
Try to find a player that shot 51%.
Right. And Michael Brooks trying to save it from going OB does not. They'll give it back to LA, and they'll come length of the floor and traveling purple and gold. That's Nixon. He can go. Dishes it along the side, deflected by San Diego, and they're going to give it back to the Lakers. And Jamal Wilkes was as surprised as Michael Brooks.
Well, they got a gift that time, and the Clipper faithful here, they're not happy about it, but the Lakers are rolling. They get the ball back. Magic Johnson handling.
Jamal Wilkes. Funny looking shot, but oh so effective. 23-14. LA with an early lead. Good drive by Jelly Bean Joe. 23-16 now. LA with 6:12 to play in the period. As the Lakers trying to turn the lights out for the Clippers here tonight. They would drive the final nail just about if they could put them down here in this one. Nixon on the miss. Jones with a good strong rebound in the land of the Giants. He traveling, no call. A foul call underneath.
The shot that Norm Nixon took, that's the type of shot that they would like to see the Lakers taking, opposed to see him running. Jimmy Jones makes a strong rebound. He had one of the Clippers off his feet, spun back around. Nader goes off his feet. And there's just a little bit of brush contact as he takes the ball up to the hoop. That's their third team foul, second on Swin Nader, and they can ill afford to lose him against Kareem tonight.
Well, he did a little hat dance there, but he got away with it as he makes the first free throw. Jimmy Jones, 65% at the line, 11 points per game on the year, averaging 8.3 rebounds. Jones, who came over from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and a deal that sent Dave Robish, plus some extras, over to the Cavaliers a couple years back. There's Brooks. I'll make that Bryant. 25-16. LA with the lead. Nader with the ball. And what do we have? A little checking foul. Swin Nader.
It'll push on Kareem. He had his hand in his back. As I think Nader surprised him. Normally in that position, Nader likes to swing to the baseline for his hook. Came across the middle. Kareem gave him a push.
On the inbound now, the Clippers at 14 fouls, the Lakers at 3. So on that play before he was in the act of shooting, now Phil Smith will draw the foul, and both teams go even on the team foul situation. Well, both teams are at 4. Michael Cooper has come into the Los Angeles Laker lineup. Cooper, who was the man that did a great job while Magic Johnson was out as the other starter. Now it's moved. Back door, Michael Brooks. I asked him how he thought he could improve his game, and he said the dribble off the rebound to take the pressure off the guards. Nixon. And someone did not react defensively there for San Diego after Brian Taylor got rubbed off a pick. Joe Bryant on the miss. Here's Magic.
That's a shot that the Lakers want to see San Diego take, shoot quickly and give themselves a chance to run and get that kind of basket right there.
Jimmy Jones traveled again and got away with it as they get it to Michael Cooper. And Cooper got his first 2 points of the game. Cooper with a 9.4 per game average, and San Diego will take a timeout. They trail it by 11. Los Angeles 29, the Clippers 18. The second game of our Thursday night doubleheader on the USA Network, and we'll be back to San Diego right after this. Anybody like a little chicken cacciatore?
Well, Eddie, you know, he brings out the Magic, brings out the best in everybody. We haven't seen the chicken all year, and here he is in a full house tonight. You know, we'll have some of the biggest names in women's tennis this weekend on USA as they present the $200,000 Avon Women's Championship from Dallas. We'll bring you semifinal action on Saturday starting at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we'll be on hand for the Pulse Quickening Championship match. Stay tuned with USA for all great weekend in tennis.
Got himself some cool stuff going there, doesn't he? The chicken. 29-18. San Diego's home. There's Nader. Looks for Brian Taylor. Taylor against Norman Nixon. Pretty good guard line matchup. Phil Smith, they leave him alone. That was a mistake. Phil Smith's a good shooter. Smith's been around a long time, and Phil, that time with the open opportunity, 48% career from the floor. Last year, 15-5 in the last 51 games. This year, he's played very well in the last 2 months. There's Magic trying to get to Jones as he came down the lane. Picked up by the Clippers. They have a 4-on-2 rush. Smith almost traveled. Joe Bryant. And suddenly it's 29-22.
Well, when you talk about defense, that's the kind that Clippers would like to play, forcing the Lakers into a turnover and getting themselves in a situation where they can run. That time they were able to do it, and they scored. They're down by 7.
Look at the way they clear out a side. Let Kareem work with the turn-in hook. They clear out the left side. He looks like he's going to dish it off. He does not. And after everything looks nice and clear and open to him, he swings in, and who's going to stop that one? 31-22. The hook and ladder from Engine Company 3, probably. There's Brian Taylor. Good block out by Jones. He's done a nice job for him on the boards all year long. 8+ per game. There's Norman. Jimmy Jones, Racine, Wisconsin. Folks back in that area that watch our games on the USA Network. Jimmy, I'm sure, would want to be remembered to all his family and friends back there, as is the case with Magic back in the great state of Michigan. And Kareem trying to make the move to the middle with that finger roll. Foul on the way through that time.
Swin picks up his third foul. He's going to have to take a seat here. 3:26 left in the first period. That's a big foul, and the Clippers are struggling at this point in the ball game. They're going to bring Jerome Whitehead in, and certainly he's not going to be any match for Kareem, who's off to an excellent offensive start along with the rest of the Lakers. He'll go to the line for a couple. He surprised Nader by trying to roll across the middle when Swin again having the same thing done to him as he did to Kareem. Normally taking the hook from that side, came across the middle and picked up the foul.
Jabari is having an outstanding year, Steve. He's 78% at the line, although he misses the first one. I said a little over 11 rebounds, just under that, but 26.4 points per game and 56% from the floor. So he's been a do-it-all guy. And actually, when Magic went out, so many people had to pick up the slack. We talked about Wilkes and Michael Cooper, but it was Jabbar who shouldered the majority of the load, as he has done so often in the past. Magic's presence takes a lot of heat off that big guy, and I know that he, among the rest, is very happy to see that he is back.
Well, certainly it makes it a lot easier for Kareem to play when you have a man that can pass the basketball and find open men, and well, they cannot double up and sag off like they were doing when he was out of the ball game.
It'll clear out for Brooks. Nice post-up move over Magic Johnson. This game brought to you under rights by the National Basketball Association, intended for the use of our audience. Landsberger on the offensive tip. Any rebroadcast or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the permission of the NBA is strictly prohibited.
Clippers have brought in an offensive machine in Freeman Williams, and they need someone to just keep them in contact. They're down by 10 right now. Smith doing a good job of that.
34-26, Phil Smith. Nice job. He's got 12 points so far. Here's Nixon. And the youngster from Duquesne, who has been tremendous throughout his career in L.A. And a traveling violation, Freeman Williams, who came on just moments ago. Freeman Williams is a scoring machine, and although he won't do much here, he's averaging 19 a game to lead them.
We see Whitehead scramble and come up with that loose ball, and he'll pitch it ahead to Freeman Williams. And Williams not really able to get control of the basketball before he's surprised by the defense of Norm Nixon. Takes a couple of quick steps and gets whistled.
Magic Johnson, 6'9", 215-pounder. Pretty nice guard to have out there. He can play forward, he can play guard, he's even played the middle. And we've got a foul on Phil Smith. And so that'll put the Clippers over the limit. And at the line will go Michael Cooper. This is a fellow that you don't hear a lot of because of his unselfish role, but at 6'6" and 170 out of the University of New Mexico. He was a third-round pick in '78, injured the knee the first year, really did not get much of an opportunity, won 12 games with his D a year ago, according to Paul Westhead, and this year, with Magic out, he has really had a chance to shine.
Well, he's excellent playing the weak side and does a good job of getting out and running in the break. He's not a player that looks to score, but he has the ability to score. You know,
interestingly enough, it's his breakaway, exciting jams off of some fine defensive moves that has oftentimes turned his team back in the right direction. You don't hear a lot about that. That is Mark Landsberger, big, strong power forward. Came over from the Chicago Bulls a year ago for a youngster by the name of Oliver Mack. And it's turned out to be an excellent deal for the Lakers. His strength inside, on the boards, offensively and defensively. And over the top, trying to get it to Kareem Magic Johnson. Now that might be the one little fine touch that still remains out of Magic's game as you look at Jamal Wilson. Johnson will go out. And that's the kind of timing that takes time really to get down that synchronization.
Well, he's such a student of the game that it won't take him too long. He picked up the fact that Jerome Whitehead cannot handle Kareem by himself. Wanted to clear things out. Landsberger a little slow.
It's a nice play by Joe Bryant. He drew two defenders and dropped it off to Whitehead in the lane. And so you give Joe Bryant a lot of credit for making that play.
Well, you know, when a player comes off a big game, he usually comes back and backs it up. And we're talking about Joe Bryant. He had 34 points. He feels very confident tonight.
Norman Nixon, no. Michael Brooks, that right there is where he would like to take some of the pressure off the guards by dribbling a few steps up the floor, because the guard or the forward playing him will be retreating defensively. You come out and make him play. Three-pointer. That was a three-point attempt there, and Landsberger with a rebound. So the Clippers going to part of their arsenal a little early. That three-point shot. Nixon backs outside the line.
In that situation, not really a bad shot for Freeman Williams. The ball spooned in and out.
Trying to get it down into the hole to Kareem, and an offensive foul. The officials, we did not have a chance because of the confusion at the top. Working the game tonight, Bob Rakel, as you see Paul Westhead, and Mike Mathis. And we're going to have a timeout with 55 seconds to play. We'll have an opportunity to talk about a few of the things that we didn't get a chance to tell you about on the way in. Steve, would you say contrasting styles of play or similar styles between these two teams?
Well, I think the Lakers look to run the basketball a great deal more than the San Diego Clippers, and I think without the Clippers having that leadership in the backcourt where they can control the tempo of the ball game, they could get swept up in a wide open running ball game, and that could hurt them. Paul Silas would like to see his team run, but run under control, and certainly there's a difference. The Lakers with Magic Johnson look to push the ball up every time and look for that quick, easy opportunity, and we've seen them get it here early in the ball game as they put up 36 points here in the first period. Big offensive period for the Lakers.
If the NBA season were to end tonight, LA would have to play a mini-series against Golden State. And that is something I'm sure the Lakers, well, they may want to play that. They may want to play that just to get those extra games to tune it up. On the other side, Portland would probably draw Kansas City the way things are now, with Phoenix and San Antonio, the divisional leaders and winners, obviously, at this point. They would get the bye in the first round. The Lakers, of course, trying to sharpen their game as they cruise down the stretch here, and hopes of being able to go to that final series again against somebody from the East. And right now, the way it shapes up, New York and Indiana in the mini-series on one side, Boston and Chicago with Washington threatening in the other mini-series, with Philadelphia and Milwaukee the divisional winners, or at least leaders right now. Milwaukee has wrapped up their division, the Central. Philadelphia and Boston still tussling right now on theirs, and that has Boston a game and a half behind Philadelphia. So the playoffs around the corner, and we'll have many of those games for you on the USA Network. I hope you'll be able to join us.
Well, Eddie, you talk about the Lakers sharpening up their game, but they don't need too much more. If they continue to play like this, Whitehead on a tremendous following side.
If you're wondering what those black patches are on the armbands or on the top part of the uniform jerseys for the San Diego Clippers, those in honor of Irv Levin, the owner of the Clipper, his wife that passed away recently. She was killed in an automobile accident, and in honor of her, in memorial, they have put those black patches on their uniform jerseys.
Jimmy Jones is going to come in the ball game. He cannot come in after a score. It's Kareem jammed. And you see Kareem get the ball in here. Jerome Whitehead has no chance right here. He takes it over the top with a great deal of authority.
They may have bent the rim. I'm going to stop things just a little bit here to double check. With 21 seconds to play here in the period, the Lakers 38 and the Clippers 30. And it looks like part of the rim has become dismantled. We may have to pause here to try and fix things up, or they may decide to play it here for the remaining 21 seconds and then repair it between the periods. We'll wait and find out. Nixon and Michael Cooper, the guard line, against Freeman Williams and Phil Smith for San Diego. There's Mike Brooks as he gives it up and then flashes to the hoop. Give it to Whitehead. And Freeman Williams trying to save, but off the body and inbounds to Nixon. And the Lakers cannot draw on it. That's the end of one. So an almost mistake, but the Lakers do not capitalize into the end of one. LA 38, San Diego 30. You're watching Thursday night NBA basketball on the USA Cable Network. While we were away, Steve Jones got his T-square out, went up there and set everybody in a proper frame of mind by saying, hey, everything's all right. You had your carpenter's balance. It looks like that basket's in pretty good shape.
Well, there was some concern, but it appears that all the nuts and bolts are in shape, and the only people that are going to complain are the Lakers if that ball starts to drop off the percentages they've been shooting the basketball. And the Clippers are really lucky to be only 8 points down at this particular point.
Okay, now put your leveler back in your toolbox here, and let's get back to work. Here's Bryant.
Good move by Joe.
Very nice move by Joe Bryant. Bryant is a fellow who has been on a roller coaster ride this year. He's had brilliant games, and he's had very subpar games, averaging 10.7. Bryant with a total of 9. He's almost on his average already here tonight. Jimmy Jones will start on top with Kareem on the bench.
Now, with the lineup that the Lakers have in here, this will really be a true test to tell how far the Lakers have to go in order to be ready to play in the playoffs. Wilk looked like he traveled and got away with it.
Well, that was a nice pass by Jones, though. Almost a great play. Here's Ron Davis, who is a good shooter. Found him in the Continental League, the court of last resort, and he's had some fabulous games for the Clippers. Ron Davis out of the University of Washington. Now we've got a foul call. Davis got away with one right there as he ran down Cooper.
Cooper moved to set that pick for him.
And here it is again.
You see right there, Davis comes through it. Mike Mathis says he never was set. Cooper can't believe the call.
Can you?
Not really. Looked like he was set.
Freeman Williams with a tracer. And Jamal on the rebound with a loop lead out. Nixon tries the same. Cooper, there's some ball handling and a foul. Boy, was that precision basketball. That's the kind of thing you work on early in the year. You lose a fellow like Magic, you've got to work to get it back, and they've done that and then some. What a job the Lakers on that break.
Oh, they've had some excellent textbook fast breaks here early in the ball game, and that was just another effort. Landsberger has a chance for a three-point play. We have a big score down from Dallas. You know, that's another big win for them at home. They defeat the Golden State Warriors by 2, 121-18, and Golden State now has fallen under 500.
40-32 here with 10:38. LA with the lead. Clippers with the ball. That's Joe Bryant. Out of LaSalle University, Brian Taylor. Fine guard. Defensive prowess is his best. Here's Bryant on the drive on Landsberger. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's the kind that'll pump you up. Bryant is sky high after that one. 40-34. And the Clippers try to cut the lead.
That's the kind of shot that'll have you shooting them all night long.
Wilkes, however, he comes right back and gets a pair. The Los Angeles Lakers will come in trailing Phoenix in the Pacific. San Antonio and their coach Stan All back in town, and Stan is in attendance here tonight. They lead the Midwest Division. They've had a fabulous year. Here's Bryant again. Hot hand? No, sir. Nice move by Freeman Williams. Tipped by Jerome Whitehead. He also, like Jimmy Jones from Marquette University in Milwaukee.
Whitehead very effective tonight, with the exception of taking that quick outside jumper. He's tried to stay inside on the offensive board as Magic Johnson works on a solo and gets 2 more.
You like him, don't you?
He's some kind of talent.
Oh, boy, I tell you, I think he's fabulous. I think he's fabulous on and off the floor. 44-36. Brian Taylor. And the defense a little confused that time as Brian Taylor saw us a lapse there. And he got the jumper off and he put it in. 44-38. There's Mike Cooper. Brian Taylor trying to fight over the pick by Jones. They go in deep to Jamal Wilkes. He's got Ron Davis on him. Forces the shot and the foul by Davis. Davis, the young man we told you about, 6'7", 205. Washington State was the MVP in the Continental League a year ago.
Well, anytime you have a player like Wilkes, you certainly don't want him to get off from the outside, but in this situation, it looks like Jamal is really going to have a tough time getting the shot out, and Ron Davis bails him out. He'll have an easier chance to score from the free throw line.
Wilkes with 10 points. He's trying to add to that. Indiana, incidentally, a 114-107 winner over Washington, and that might just about put it away as far as Washington's chances. Chicago now will have an opportunity to add a half a game without even drawing a breath, as Chicago will move their lead to Washington to 2.5 games. Washington now with just 8 games remaining. They lost to New Jersey last night, Indiana tonight. That coming out of the Eastern Conference. Brian Taylor looks for Joe Bryant. Freeman Williams. Nice looking shot. Nice smooth rotation. And Freeman Williams
finally gets his first 2 points, Eddie. We could see him all of a sudden go for 18, 19 points in a period. He has that kind of offensive capability.
We've told you about his scoring touch. Junior and senior in college, 38-8, 39+. Magic Johnson. That's what you call a fine professional there. Had the first shot rejected, came back, got the second, and put it in. 48-40. Magic with 9. Brian Taylor, Whitehead. Switches on the D. Magic following Brian Taylor. Drop back and a reach-in foul. I always like to watch those 2-on-2 games when they develop on one side. We had a chance to see it right there, and we'll see it again.
Well, Brian Taylor handles the basketball for the Clippers well in that situation. He was looking to draw the defense to him.
48-40. LA with the lead. San Diego with the ball. Joe Bryant. Good move by Jelly Bean Joe. That's the kind of move you see on the blacktops in the summertime.
Joe is jackknifing and double pumping and clutching, and I don't know really if Paul Silas should take him out of the ball game right now. I see Garfield Hurd up and ready to go, but he's played some excellent offensive ball here early in the ball game.
Joe said he wants to be your post-game guest at the Star of the Game show. 48-42. Magic. Magic said, I don't know whether that was going down, and he saw that thing go up, and he started after it right away. He's got tremendous instincts. What a fun guy to watch. Magic Johnson on Brian Taylor. He's giving up. Taylor is about 6 inches on that matchup. Freeman Williams will draw Cooper. Williams about 6'4" and Cooper 6'6", as Kareem stepped out to help, and Cooper with a reach-in foul. L.A. with some good helping defense to cause problems. Here's Gar Hurd. He's been around more than just a couple of semesters. And Brad Holland, good outside shooter, 6'3", 185, second-year man, UCLA. Hurd, 11 years, 6'6", 219 from Oklahoma. At the line goes Freeman Williams.
Taylor's going to come out of the ball game. Phil Smith in as they try to get a little bit more firepower out of the backcourt. Freeman Williams will go to the free throw line.
Freeman Williams. Notice, if you can, we can pick it up. He shoots the free throws off center at the free throw line. Let's see if we can pick this shot up for you. Some fellows have idiosyncrasies at the line. Some move to the right, to the left. Some step away a little bit. But look at how far over he is. Kind of like a pitcher moving all the way to one side or the other of the rubber. For one reason or the other. It seems to work. 50-43. Freeman Williams now with a total of 3. Missed the first. 7:16 till halftime. We'll have a feature for you at halftime and a special interview with a special guy.
A very early appearance for Brad Holland as Johnson rolls across the middle again.
Magic Johnson. I told you he can play every position on the floor. He showed you there with that hook. He can play the hub. Get down in the middle of the thing and turn around with that hook. 52-43, Magic Johnson. Brad Holland and Kareem, they double up on the ball and knocked away from Freeman Williams. There's that double-up defense we talked about, that helping defense at Jabbar. Very, very active. We have a timeout. Timeout with 6:50 to play here in the half. The Lakers 52, the Clippers 43. You're watching Thursday night NBA basketball on the USA Cable Network. 52-43, the Clippers trailing the Los Angeles Lakers. And this fellow, even though he acts like he's happy about it, is a San Diego booster, and that is the Chicken doing his thing. I've never seen Travolta do that one. That's got to go back a few semesters. Where do you think he's getting that stuff?
Well, there's not really any telling where the Chicken gets his stuff. He may get some of it from Chick Hearn.
There's a fellow that part of his name comes out to Chicken. That's Chick Hearn. And for 21 years now, he's been grinding out words describing the Los Angeles Laker games, and we will have an interview with Chick Hearn coming up at halftime tonight. Boy, if I got paid by the word like he does, wouldn't that be something? 52-43. On top, Phil Smith. There's Freeman Williams on Holland. Oh, what a nice shot. Interesting because Holland shading Williams left, and Williams pulls up and shoots the ball right in Holland's face. That's the tough way.
Well, Brad Holland's going to have a tough time trying to contain Freeman Williams.
Kareem, tough pass as he shoehorns it through a crowd, and Jamal, in close traffic, has it blocked away. Look at Jelly Bean Joe push it up with authority. 52-45, LA with the lead.
Joe wants some more, but he comes inside, made a strong move. The crowd thought he got fouled.
Landsberger to
nice
Magic,
pass.
to Brad Holland. Oh, what a pass by Magic Johnson. He wanted 2 out of that in the worst way. You know, Magic Johnson in the mold of some of the great assist makers of all time, Cousy, and of course Guy Rogers. They get as big a kick out of that kind of a pass resulting in a score than if they did it themselves.
Well, there's no question that Magic likes to see everybody score and keep him involved in the basketball game, and that time he found Brad Holland, gave him an opportunity to get an easy 2. He's an excellent shooter.
I guess so, all around, as he misses a free throw, but in college he shot 60% from the floor.
And most of it deep on the perimeter.
Yeah, he was shooting a lot of that stuff from the parking lot. He can put it in. He misses a couple of free throws.
I guess he made us look real good, huh?
Well, he's a 94% career free throw shooter, so you can't fault your explanation. That is what we call a hot pretzel. Came right out of the pastry bag with that one. 52-47. As the Clippers have drawn to within 5, and Jones will come in. On top, high post, they go to Magic Johnson. Try to dump it to Kareem, deflected by the Clippers, and big Mark Landsberger. It may not be pure, but he's smart enough to know, put it on the rim and take your chances that way.
Well, that's a tough break
54-47.
for the Clippers. They had gotten Magic Johnson to throw a tough pass inside. Looked like they were going to have a turnover and a chance to get within 3.
Gar Hurd, there's Bryant, they clear out his side. He's got some inches here on this matchup. Takes a little bit too much time. Tries to move. There's 4 seconds on the clock and a 3-pointer. Brackets. Magic Johnson has Holland at the other end. Does not see him. Landsberger coming in from the right side. Magic wants to do his thing. Comes up with that high dribble. You think that dribble might be easy to knock away, but he has such fine-tuned control of that ball. Kareem and Whitehead really battling underneath. Jerome Whitehead extremely strong. He blocks the shot. Garherd up with it. Bryant, crowd wants a big one. They got one. 54-47, LA with the lead. Brad Holland. Joe put a little extra on that one. Came up with a little relish beside the mustard. Here's Jamal Wilkes. 56-47. That's when it looks like the Clippers are trying to put a blade to the lead and trim it down a little bit. Back comes LA. A fine team. Bryant, open side. Joe Bryant trying to add to his night. He's got a good one going. Draws a foul out of Wilkes. And Jelly Bean Joe, who has got 15, is going to go to the line for 2 more. In comes Norman Nixon. In comes Jimmy Jones. Out goes Landsberger and Jamal Wilkes. Wilkes with 2 fouls, incidentally.
Wilkes very quietly, and this is why Wilkes is one of the most underrated players in the league. Has 14 points already. He had 8 in the first period, had 6 before he took that seat with 4:30 here in the second period. And Joe Bryant having an excellent offensive game, but we've never seen Joe so aggressive at the offensive end.
4:30 to play in the half. Don't forget, special feature for you at halftime, and then an interview with the voice of the Lakers for 21 years. Very well known out here on the West Coast in basketball circles. There's Bryant at the line. Now it's 56-50. Joe Bryant with 16 points. He is 2 for 3 at the line tonight. The Lakers a year ago won 60. They lost 22. 23-18 on the road. An interesting figure here somewhere I want to dig out. Lakers against above 500 teams and below 500 teams. This tells you quite a bit. Jones. That's Abdul-Jabbar with 3 seconds. Had to shoot it. Brackets it and look at Whitehead. Oh, my goodness. Was he on the imaginary ladder or what?
Jerome Whitehead playing a strong game on both ends, especially at the board. He's doing a good job of really containing Kareem. That time forced him out and got the rebound.
56-50 with 3:54. Clippers with the ball and trailing it by 6. Smith to Freeman Williams. Good. And now it's a 4-point game. In that note that I mentioned to you, LA without Magic Johnson, of course, trying to hang together. It took them a while to get comfortable, but against teams over 500 for the year, only 15-12. They've made their mark against teams under 500, 30-12. And a lot of that happening while Magic was recuperating off that knee surgery.
Well, you have to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. If you're a good basketball team, you know that you're going to have a tough time against the good teams. You would like to play them even, but you sure don't want to lose to a team that you feel is not as good as yours. As we look at Kareem work inside, and this is what the Lakers do whenever they get bogged down and get in trouble, and Kareem definitely has an advantage over Jerome Whitehead. Whitehead trying to go up early and time the block, doesn't get there, gets him with the body. Kareem takes it up, hopes for a 3-point play, doesn't get it, and he's at the line.
You know, Whitehead's not doing a bad job. Here's a kid 6'10", 2 1/4, been shuttled around all year. Nobody wanted the young man. Originally a second-round pick of the old Buffalo team, but he started with Dallas this year. Actually spent some time with Utah last year, expanded to Dallas, then shipped over to Cleveland. They cut him loose after they gave up a #1 pick in the deal with Robinzine and a couple of #1s for he and Richard Washington, which has really got Cleveland people shaking their heads and NBA people in general. But Whitehead, picked off the garbage pile, has really done a good job to help this club. Here's Garherd. Never drew iron. And we got a traveling violation on Jones. Well, Jimmy got caught that time. That's the 3rd time he's done it tonight. That's the 1st time they nailed him for it.
Well, Paul Silas off the bench, very unhappy with that call. He felt as though his man Joe Bryant had gotten hammered pretty good down and deep before Jones got that rebound.
There's Phil Smith. 6'5", 190, 7 years, second-round pick out of San Francisco. Freeman missing. Good follow by Jelly Bean. And Whitehead. And he was not blocked off by Kareem. He got switched off on Magic, and he went up over the top of Magic that time and put it in for his 8th of the game. Nice job by Jerome. Kareem tried to shoehorn the back door. Taken away by the Clippers' double-down defense. Phil Smith against Nixon. Shows the ball to the crowd. Turnaround! And suddenly a 2-point game with 2:33 to play in the half. Nixon does not see Johnson coming in the right wing. Jones tied up, and a decent foul by Phil Smith. Now Jimmy will have to go to the line and earn the 2 as Smith took away the short 2-pointer from Jimmy Jones.
Well, the crowd is excited here. Phil Smith wanted to make sure that Jim Jones did not get that easy deuce.
Timeout. 2:28 to play in the half. Score, LA 58, San Diego 56. You're watching Thursday night NBA basketball on the USA Cable Network.
Well, Eddie, you know, we're still in the regular season here in the NBA, but it's postseason time for college, and here on USA Network, we have the National Invitation Tournament, the longest running tournament in the nation. You'll see some of the country's top teams and players battling for glory. That's Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on USA Network.
58-56 here, the Chicken playing up to the cheerleaders along the way. What a job he does, and of course, he makes his mark all over the country. Jimmy Jones is at the line. LA is a free throw shooting team, 74%. Last year, they shot 78% at the line.
Well, you were right when you said he's going to have to earn it. He has 2 more opportunities. He misses his first. The Lakers have only scored 20 points to go with that 38 that they initially had, so they've broken down offensively, and the Clippers have gotten themselves a chance to get back in a ball game.
Jimmy Jones is a 71% career shooter. This year, Jones at 65%, and he misses 2 of the 3. Free throw shooting is an interesting art. Some say concentration. Others have other ideas about it. Some just say skill. I
think it's mostly confidence. If you believe that you can shoot the ball, then you want to go to the free throw line. A lot of times players get very hesitant about being there, and that's why they miss.
3-point lead for LA, 59-56. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to play. NBA season winding down. And we will have some fabulous playoff action for you on the USA Network. Keep apprised of what's going on your cable system, and you'll be well informed as to where we will be during the playoffs. Whitehead has really done a nice job in relief of Nader, who got 3 fouls early. Freeman Williams within 1. And that's as close as they have been all night long.
Well, Phil Smith had 12 in the first period, and Freeman Williams has finally heated up. He's got 11. So you can see that the Clippers have some offense of their own as they try to tighten up down at the defensive end.
And Kareem foul. Phil Smith has really done a job inside. He's getting down there amongst the big, tall timber, and this time he is challenged by Abdul-Jabbar. Watch this as he tries to fill and help out.
Well, Phil Smith has been around for 6 years, and he knows all of the elements of the game. As a guard, he tries to get back in and give some weak side help to Kareem, because you know once he gets it in there, you're in very, very big trouble. Doesn't get there in time, however.
They double in from the weak side with the forward coming over to help, and the guard on the weak side on top dropping down anytime the ball goes into the hole. So in effect, Jabbar is drawing 3 men as the big guy misses one, 60-58. Abdul-Jabbar, 4 for 6 at the line, 12 points so far for the night. Kareem with 6'9.5", will make that 6'11", Jimmy Jones. And Jamal Wilkes at 6'6.5" on the other wing. Michael Cooper 6'6", and Norman Nixon 6'2". That's the guard line. Brian Taylor and Nixon a bookend matchup. Freeman Williams at 6'4" on Cooper. He gives away a couple inches. Gar Hurd at 6'6". Played at Oklahoma.
Pass.
Whoa, what a play right there. Backhand reverse layup that time by Freeman Williams. 61-60 LA. A high-scoring offensive game here in the first half with 1:09. And some interest for you at halftime as Kareem is bumped before he got his move underway. And it's on Jerome Whitehead. The Lakers, one of the better road teams in the NBA with a 19-15 record as you look at big Jerome Whitehead.
Now, Jerome has played an impressive ball game since coming off the bench, done a good job on both boards. He's done a good job of trying to make Kareem fight and work for the position inside. This time he gets called for the foul. Kareem back at the line, and Kareem shooting the ball well from there.
Lakers led by as many as 11, 29-18. Their lead now to 2 at 62-60.
The one thing that we've seen here in the second period is the Lakers' fast break attack stall, and they've had to work in their half-court offense, and they're not nearly as an effective basketball team.
63-60 Los Angeles. Magic Johnson is on the bench right now for LA. Freeman Williams with a 2-on-2 game going, and didn't need his help as Whitehead gave him the pick and then rolled to the hoop, and Freeman hit one of those high arching tracers. And Freeman Williams with a big, big period, 15 points in the second period. And it's 63-62.
And now you know why he's their leading scorer. He does not need a lot of time out there on the floor in order to get those kinds of numbers.
Jamal Wilkes with Bryant running at his arm. Ball loose underneath, and Gar Hurd off the hand of LA's Jones, according to Mike Mathis, who you see right there. And they'll give it to the Clippers with a chance to go ahead for the first time since early in the game. Only other time San Diego led was 3-2.
They like to run this play and let Freeman Williams just go on his own. You will listen to Paul Silas and then just try to get the hoop.
8 seconds left in the period as the Clippers try and get that all-important period-ending basket here, and they'll get it back with 2 seconds to inbound.
Good, smart defensive play that time by Jamal Wilkes. He never let Freeman Williams get into the shooting motion. He ran at him, and I think they're going to reset the clock.
That's right. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went over. They took a look at the clock, and Kareem is saying that clock is not right. They may have stopped the clock there, and there should be only 1 second, according to Jabbar, as we will wait to find out what the officials do with this. As the Lakers over there, they're conferring with a man on the clock, and let's see where they put this clock. There were 2 seconds, and that was where they were going to give the ball to the Clippers to inbound, and that would enable them to get that final shot away. Remembering, of course, that the clock does not start to roll until it touches the hands of somebody on the floor. You see the clock, you see the story, 63-62. And now they're trying to find a 1 second, I believe. That's exactly where it's going to be. 1 second to play here in the half. While they roll it down, there has been a rumor circulating that possibly Greg Kelser, who played at Michigan State with Magic Johnson, might end up on the same team with him next year. Had you heard anything?
Well, I've heard that rumor would be an excellent addition. You know, Detroit has made several boo-boos of their own. We've been talking about Cleveland, and Bob McAdoo has been waived and has been picked up by the New York Nets. But McAdoo, a great offensive scoring machine, that would be another great young forward that they would be giving up if the Lakers were able to get him.
Kareem now out there acting as the captain on the floor. He is the captain of this Laker team, and he is out there right now trying to confer with the officials about how much time is remaining, as Paul Westhead, the Shakespearean scholar, is over there saying, I'm going to let my big guy take care of it.
Well, Kareem is arguing for, I think, 2 seconds left on the shot clock. I don't know what they're going to run it down to stop it at 5 seconds, and that is the 24-second clock suspended above either basket. And it's a good position because it gives the players an opportunity when they're coming down the floor to see exactly how much time remains on the 24-second clock. Paul Silas, Bob Rakel in the middle, Paul Westhead, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Paul Silas, interesting. A learning experience, he says. Not once since 1969 or 70, when he was with the Phoenix Suns, has he been on a losing team. And now they're rolling it back to 5 seconds. And Jabbar is saying, hey, it should be 1. They're giving 5 to the Clippers. Westhead real hot. He wants a piece of Mike Mathis as Bob Rakel steps in between. He'll take the ball out now as Jamal Wilkes confers with Mike Mathis and what the officials should do in this situation. Set the clock, take the ball, get it in play, and don't allow all the conversation, and then they wouldn't have the problem.
We've got to go back to the man who keeps a running play-by-play over there in the far side.
Now look at Westhead. I mean, he's still glaring and glowering at Mathis. Mathis looks back.
And now it's down to 2 seconds. I don't know if they've made some kind of a verbal compromise or what. But the Clippers will get it with 2 seconds. And Gar Hurd. I've seen him do that a few years ago in that 76 series against Boston. Remember? Not this time, and that's the end of the first half. At the end of the first half of this exciting game, it's the Lakers 63, the Clippers 62. We're watching Thursday night NBA basketball on the USA Cable Network. At halftime, it's the Los Angeles Lakers 63, the Clippers 62. An exciting game that ended on kind of a controversial note. Tonight's 35th birthday salute to the National Basketball Association honors a man who brought a very special joy to the game. He was the NBA's Rookie of the Year in 1967, and for 12 wonderful seasons, he danced his way down the court as few others have ever done. His name was Earl Monroe.
Number 10, Earl Monroe. Earl the Pearl had all the moves in a basketball court you could ever hope to see. He was Ben Vereen with the ball. Here's Earl about to waltz by 5 defensive players on his way to a score. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nothing to it for Earl the Pearl. No matter how tight you played him one-on-one, he was unstoppable. As a matter of fact, 2-on-1, he was pretty much unstoppable. this man could pass the ball. Earl the Pearl was as slippery as an oyster out of the shell. He played the first part of his career as number 10 of the Baltimore Bullets, and then turned up as number 15 of the New York Knicks. But there was no question who was in that uniform. It was still the Pearl. At Madison Square Garden, he quickly became a favorite and a leader. Earl Monroe had been Rookie of the Year with Baltimore in 1967 and given them 4 great years. Now, he gave the Knicks 8 more. The Pearl became the most exciting player in the NBA. He made an outstanding contribution in the Knicks' World Championship year of 1973. When the Knicks were in trouble, they got the ball to Earl, and somehow, some way, he moved that marvelous mobile body and pushed the ball toward the basket. Earl Monroe captured New York. Woody Allen, an ardent fan, in a moment of passion observed, Earl Monroe has grace, can bait, pump and double pump, stutter step, shoot from the hip, dip and twist, and most important, he has an indescribable heat of genius that burns deep inside of him, some kind of diabolical intensity. Well said, Woody. Well done, Earl.
It's always nice to be able to visit with an old friend, and this friend here has been around for a long time, 21 years, voice of the Los Angeles Lakers, and if anybody in this league knows the story of the Los Angeles Lakers, Chick Hearn does. Chick, you look great. I know you're feeling great. You've got a fabulous basketball team here. Question is, where does this one fit in the chronology as far as the Lakers are concerned?
I think this one might develop to be better than last year. Whether or not we've got enough games left to make that come true, Eddie, I don't know. The big fella is playing awfully well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Magic, as your fans have seen tonight, has come back. He's probably about 94, 95% now. The only thing that he's doing is making a few bad passes, and that's timing, as you well know. But with him in there and Nixon and Cooper, I believe they have as good a 3-guard combination as you might have in the league. And Landsberger started to play a little bit more like he did last year, and that's what they need, is somebody to get the boards. They've been woefully weak in the boards in 8 of their last 9 ball games, but against San Antonio, a good club, they came on well. Now, your old club, Milwaukee, blew them out. I like Milwaukee. I think there's about 6 teams could win it all.
Where would you like to start if you had to pick an all-time Laker team?
An all-time Laker team, I would have to have 2 centers, because it wouldn't be fair of me to say Kareem over Wilt or Wilt over Kareem. They're 2 different type players totally, and each outstanding in his own right. Baylor, of course, I guess I'd have to put Baylor up front with LaRusso, West in the backcourt, and this is going to shock you now, Dick Barnett. And
Fall back, baby?
The reason I say fall back, baby, is because Jerry has always told me it's the best guard I ever played with. Well, if he thought he was the best, he must have been pretty good. Gail Goodrich was awfully good, too. But the 5 that I would have to name are the ones that I did. Maybe I would change that now as time goes along and Magic develops. Ask about your all-time all-league team. I've still got Bob Pettit at one of the forwards, but that may change. Of course, I think Elgin Baylor is the best basketball player I've ever seen, Eddie.
Is Magic Johnson about the most charismatic, most exciting, fun guy you've ever seen in the game?
No question, and I've been lucky like you were with so many years in Milwaukee, but I've had Wilt and Kareem and Elgin and Magic and Jerry West, just to name a few, and without any question, I think maybe Magic Johnson's the most charismatic player that ever played.
And I'll tell you what, you talk about lucky. I think the Los Angeles fans have been lucky to have the voice of Chick Hearn for all these years. You're a great one, and those of us who know a little bit about this business idolize you, Chick. Congratulations, and 21 more.
Thank you very much, Eddie Dezette. Thank you.
We will be back with more right after this when the USA Game of the Week continues after these words.
Very nice.
When you roll off 125 points and a half, there had to be a lot of highlights, and I know we've got some exciting ones, like Magic Johnson's return here to the San Diego Sports Arena is enough. But when you see that man get out on the floor and glide through all the action, he is fun.
Well, you know, the one thing that Magic Johnson does for the Lakers is give them good court presence and awareness. Now, we'll look at Magic Johnson going on his own against Freeman Williams, who makes a fine block. The ball comes right back to him. He knows that the defense is broken down, and he takes it right back up, and he gets a hoop anyway. And Magic Johnson has shown that he knows where he is on the court at all times.
Magic Johnson is just incredible. He's only 21 years of age. It's hard to believe that a young man that age has that kind of savoir-faire when it comes to playing this game.
Boy, you're sharp. You know, you've been sharp all night long, but Magic Johnson is sharp as attack, and he's a rare talent. He's just one of those people that comes along once in a decade, maybe, you know, once in an era, and Magic Johnson's in that group.
When you talk about talent, you cannot exclude the fact that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is perhaps one of the very best. He's an outstanding player. You and I have seen him for many, many years. We'll see him again.
Well, we look at Kareem take it over the top, but Kareem has been a dominant player ever since his first day in the pros, and he's continued to play exceptional basketball. Anytime you have him, you're guaranteed somewhere between 45 and 50 wins. The Lakers have been in good shape ever since he came to L.A.
All right, now who is going to spring a leak here in the second half?
Well, you know, the ball game started off in Laker fashion. They were able to get the express roll and shoot layups, high percentage, and all of a sudden they made some substitutions, and they broke down, and San Diego was able to come back in the ball game. And if San Diego can keep Los Angeles in a half-court basketball game, they have an excellent chance to win. They have beaten Los Angeles twice, once up in L.A. and once down here, so it's anybody's ball game right now because Los Angeles has lost the impetus that they had early in the ball game.
What I want to know is, Mr. Jones, did Bill Russell read your book or did you read his?
I haven't written mine yet, so we'll have to say that I read his. You know, leading scorers in the ball game for L.A., Kareem has 16 points, Magic Johnson 13, and Jamal Wilkes 14. On the other hand, we saw Freeman Williams come up with 15 in the second half. Joe Bryant has 16, and Phil Smith 14. So we got three players on both teams with double figures.
You heard it from the man, Steve Jones. I'm Eddie Doucette. We'll be back, second half basketball action, right here at the San Diego Sports Arena on our USA Game of the Week. As far as the teams are concerned in the first half, we have some statistics we'd like to pass along. Steve, maybe you can pass those over.
Well, the Los Angeles Lakers shot a hot 60% on 23 of 38. They were 17 of 25 from the line, 68%, and they had 18 rebounds. On the other hand, the Clippers, a little bit of shots on goal. They are 29 of 52 for 55%, still a good percentage, but they've only been to the line 7 times, 7 for 57%. They have 22 rebounds, so they're out-rebounding the Lakers, and if they can even up that discrepancy and disparity at the free throw line, they could win this ball game, Eddie.
All right, 63-62 the score. Rebounding, as we have already indicated to you, fairly close, and that may be a little bit of a surprise to you. So the Lakers and the San Diego Clippers, these two teams have played 4 times before, and they have split 2-2 and 1-1 at each other's homes. Incidentally, we talked about Jerome Whitehead, and I thought he did a fine job in the first half. He played 15 minutes in relief of Swen, who got in foul trouble. He was 4 for 5 from the floor, but he had 10 rebounds. And I guess you couldn't ask much more of a fellow who was a refuse product when you consider that he was cut loose by a couple of teams this year, Dallas and Cleveland, and they aren't exactly on top of the heap. Dallas, incidentally, with a big win tonight. Hard to believe that Golden State, right in the battle for things, got beat tonight by Dallas 120-118. Good game. You saw it earlier on our USA Network. Milwaukee 131, Denver 113. Milwaukee, after a tough loss in Boston last night, rebounding, and this is their second game in 3 nights. They get Philly at home tomorrow night. That ought to be a good one. Underway with Norm Nixon against Brian Taylor. Nader in the middle. Swen with 3 fouls. And in and outer that came back down for Nixon. And Nixon doing it against one of the better guards in the league defensively, Michael Brooks. Brooks on the clear out. They double up on the offside. Phil Smith, they go to Taylor. To the low hole, Nader tries that move once or twice a game. On the reverse, no. Kareem with a rebound, fighting, tap back into the hands of Magic Johnson. Magic goose steps through the crowd. 67-62.
Now, if I were Paul Sellis, this is the thing I tell my team that I did not want to happen. Allow them to get in a running game. They've come down and gotten 2 quick early hoops in the ball game and have gotten a chance to get that offensive momentum going their way.
Michael Brooks over the big man and past Jimmy Jones, and he's fouled in the play, and he will go to the line. Here's a look at Jones, and Brooks, who had 4 points and was nothing for nothing at the line, will get his first trip.
Well, Michael Brooks likes to work in deep. This time he makes an excellent move against Jim Jones. Jones tries to come over the top and from behind to make the block. He gets whistled. Brooks will have 2 opportunities.
Brooks, a member of the U.S. Olympic team, victorious United States Pan American Games team, selected as the Player of the Year by the National Association of Basketball Coaches. LaSalle's all-time leading scorer and field goal percentage leader, 54%. And a year ago, he averaged 24 plus and 11.5 rebounds a game as a senior at LaSalle. And here in San Diego, winning his Spurs as a rookie, and he says he's fairly well pleased with his rookie year. Nader on Jabbar. Kareem, good move on Swin. Well, you talk about muscling your way through the crowd. Jabbar and the Lakers 69-64. Kareem now with 17 points. Abdul-Jabbar. He is truly the king. He's been around a long time. Hard to believe that Jabbar will be 34 in April, next month. 69-64. Jones rejected there by Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean, Joe Bryant.
Great defensive play by Joe Bryant to get back. We saw 2 of them. Magic Johnson reaching in to get it, and we'll see this pass come up. And Joe Bryant come in and really put the hammer on it to save a hoop for the San Diego Clippers.
Lakers 69, Clippers 64 with 10:22 in the third. We'll be back with more Thursday night NBA basketball on the USA Network. (69-64). Lakers with the lead in the ball. The man in the background on the knee, Paul Silas, the rookie coach of the San Diego Clippers. And what a trying year it has been for him. He's been with winners throughout his career. And this team has struggled. It's had bright moments. Nixon, and he draws a foul out of Brian Taylor. That was a good move by Nixon. He had Taylor on the open floor. And rather than pump fake and go around him, he drew Taylor in close. And out of the action, a foul. So at the line goes Norman Nixon. And Nixon will go to the line with a free throw percentage of 79.
Well, we get another look at it, and he really surprised Brian Taylor by putting the ball up there that quickly. Taylor trying to come up with the defense, got him across the elbow. He scores from the line. The Lakers up by 6, chance to go up by 7, and again, the Clippers now will have to fight uphill.
71-64. And uphill they start the climb. Brian Taylor. Bryant.
Joe.
There's that reverse finger roll. And it almost went, but look at Nixon. Oh, how he takes it to you. Good move by Nixon. Boy, that's the kind of a pro guard you look for. And he had the flow of the defense going back on their heels, and he just took it right down the old boulevard that time. And it's 73-64, the Laker lead to 9. Clippers are going to have to get back in it right here for fear of getting too far behind. And that's a good start by Phil Smith. So Smith, with his 16th point so far in the game, has helped. 73-66, 9.5. There's a steal on Brooks as they sag back into Jones. Smith deflected away on the back. And Brian Taylor off the ball as they allow Phil Smith to bring it up. That point guard problem seems to be a bit of an enigma so far here for the Clippers. They don't have one man in charge.
Well, you know, they change it quite a bit. Smith normally a scoring guard and in that off position. And Brian Taylor handles the ball, but they both try to share the duties. The Lakers running again, and Jamal Wilkes scores an easy 2.
Swin Nader upset that Bob Rakel didn't call a foul when he and Jabbar got hooked up. 75-66. Here's Taylor, tries to penetrate. There's that double-up defense with Magic sliding over to help. Here's Taylor on the post-up. Bryant, he's got Wilkes, about 3.5 inches taller. Three-point home run. And a home run jumper right there, or lean in, if you will, by Brian Taylor. He's #1 in the league at that. So we have our first opportunity. 37.5% is what Taylor is shooting, and that's a great percentage from that distance. 22 feet and out. Wilkes back to Jones. Jones lobs down to the big man. Looks to the weak side. Sags. The defense drops back. They double up on the ball, and Michael Brooks slips in there and cleans and presses the big man. 75-69. Brooks, he wants to make advantage of the whole thing now. Jabbar blocks and gets it back. That is what you call a control block.
Well, he made a good steal down at this end. Then he tried to challenge the defense of the big tower inside and got the ball knocked away, tried to make a steal and couldn't.
The Clippers defensively, they double on Nixon. Over to Magic on a Kareem screen. Thought about it. We got a 3-second call in the lane, I believe. 3 in the lane is what it is. And so you look at Magic Johnson as they turn it over. Turnovers in the first half. The Lakers 7 and the Clippers 4. So relatively void of that particular department. And we get one here in the third period with 7:40 to play. And the Lakers lead at 6. Freeman Williams on Nixon. Kareem slipped out too far. And that was a great move by Freeman Williams off the bench. Kareem came up on the top side that time. And Williams slipped behind his man. And on the back door laid it in.
Down by 4 and trying to run back in the ball game as Kareem works inside, and they force the Lakers to put the ball up on the outside.
Magic, and he's fouled in the backcourt by Joe Bryant. 75-71.
Magic telling Jelly Bean Bryant he had the basketball. No question in his mind that he had it.
Boy, does he play to the crowd.
Joe Bryant right in there tying him up. He's looking back at the official. Gave him a little shot with that elbow just to let him know.
Magic came over, took a little skin from one of the spectators on the side. I said, I'll take 5, Magic. And Magic says, I'll take 5, and you give me 5 more later. Dollars. There's Jamal Wilkes from the corner. 77-71. They call him Silk, and he is smooth. He's got 18. Every night, he's like automatic. He's like a UNIVAC. Every night, he pounds out his average. Look at the deep hook by Nader. Brooks keeps it live. Jones off the trampoline and over to Magic as he goose steps it through the crowd. Oh, what a pass. Oh, what a pass, and Wilkes can't get it away, but he's fouled. Man, I'm telling you. He had a sliver for an opening there, and he found the open man. Look at him.
He handles the ball in the middle as well as anybody now. He's looking, weaving, and all of a sudden you'll see the defense come to him, pop the ball right inside to Wilkes. Wilkes tries to get when Nader to go for the initial fake, he doesn't. He comes out the other side, and that's where they pick up the foul on Joe Bryant. You cannot allow the Lakers to run. That's where they're most effective. You got to force them to play half-court basketball if you want to stand a chance.
78-71. Must be aware of that transition game all night long against teams like LA. Cannot concede any open floor opportunities. 78-71. Look at Cooper right up on Freeman Williams. Here's Joe Bryant. Lakers by 7, 6:34 to play in the third. Freeman Williams on Cooper. On the post-up Bryant. He gets triple teamed as they go into the low hole, and a foul call on the play. Now for the Lakers, that's their second team foul, so they'll inbound it side front.
They try to put some pressure on Jamal Wilkes. He pushed Joe Bryant before he could ever get in the shooting position.
Well, what an advantage the Lakers had at the free throw line in the first half. As Jelly Bean comes back with 2 more. Bryant now with 18 points in the game. Lakers had 25 free throws and the home Clippers only 7. Well, what is that about the home court advantage?
Well, the Clippers were slow in making that transition initially. We should have had a whistle there on that Jamal Wilkes attempt as Michael Brooks ran into a screen from Kareem.
Oh, well, I guess he did. A lot of people used to say that Jabbar set phantom screens, but that one was a very real screen as he nailed Brooks and allowed Wilkes to step up and get the better percentage shot. 80-73. Bryant. And he, like Brooks, from LaSalle University in the Philadelphia area. So Bryant with 20, and it's 80-75. Jump hook by Magic. Bryant with that crawling rebound. Up to Brooks. He's got a trailer on the left. There he is, Smith. Brooks. And the Lakers want to get more rebounding in there as suddenly the Clippers are starting to run.
Well, whenever the Clippers can run, and anytime you see a team getting a transition opportunity, they're going to score. The players of that caliber, Magic Johnson right back on his own on a solo, gets an easy deuce.
Well, that time Freeman Williams lost him, and the man was supposed to slide down and pick him up. Nader reacted, but he got there a little late, and Magic with that scoop lay-in. 82-77. Well, he's brilliant. I'd love to watch that young man play, that's for sure. Nader puts it down, keeps it, and on the jump hook, foul on the play. I don't know how he ever got the ball back. He dribbled it off somebody's foot. Here's Kareem. He gets a foul. He's not happy.
Well, he's not happy because it appeared to him that Swin Nader was out of control. Now Swin is just going to try to force his way right through this daylight right here. Now he goes, and it doesn't look like there's that much contact as Kareem has turned his back, looks to go to the board, and they whistle a foul. Kareem wish he could get that call every time.
All right, now Norman Nixon and Cooper the guards with Landsberger, Magic Johnson, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the front line. You know, one fellow we haven't seen tonight, and a fellow who has played well for them this year, is Jim Brewer.
Well, with Magic Johnson back, we will not see Jim Brewer in the lineup too much, nor will we see Fast Eddie Jordan.
A couple of young men that had an opportunity to play quite a bit. Butch Carter is another, and now they sit down toward the end of that Laker bench. 82-79 by 3. LA with the ball. Swin Nader. Nader with only 3 points in the game. That's been a difference as far as the Clippers are concerned. Open, Nixon missing, Landsberger, good rebounder. Magic cuts it off, intended for Nixon. On the back door, shovels into the crowd. Magic comes out of there with it. Oh boy, frog legs at home. He threw up a frog leg job that time, didn't he? 84-79.
What'd you say about that pastry?
Put him to work in the top of the next wedding cake. 84-79. Magic Johnson has come back. And it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with that leg to me. 4:17 to play. Team fouls, 4 LA on that last one, 3 on the Clippers. The foul to Magic Johnson's got 3.
A shot by Phil Smith.
Nader almost had himself an offensive rebound. Cooper, Nixon, Cooper. He looks for the trailer on the right wing, and he couldn't hang on to it. Magic on the right side. Starts into the crowd. Tries to post up on Phil Smith. There he is. Cooper's going to shoot it deep. Hot potato. Who's got it? Loose and out of bounds, and back to the San Diego Clippers. 84-79. Let's watch this sequence again.
Well, the play is pretty physical out here as we see Cooper launch one from the outside. It'll bounce off short, off the hands of Nader, Smith, and Johnson tie up, and the ball goes sailing out of bounds.
Nader on top, draws Kareem away from the hole. Freeman Williams one-on-one on Nixon. Williams, outstanding college scorer, as we've told you already. Thought he got shoved on the play. Not so, out of bounds. He'll come back in with a full-blown 24-second clock. And it'll be Brooks to Smith. Brooks immediately posts up. Smith comes over the top. Back to an open Bryant. So far, he's had a night. Kareem with a good controlling rebound. Up to Nixon. Trailing Johnson. And we have a what? A little foul call on the play, and that will put the Clippers at 4. Up, they say a kicking violation. A kick. So no foul on it. Team fouls stay 4 and 3. LA with 4 and the Clippers with 3. Magic, Michael Cooper. Cooper, a good shooter from the outside, Steve.
Cooper is a good shooter from the outside, but he just doesn't look to take it. You cannot be considered a good scorer in this league if you're not looking at the offensive end. You've got to be more than a defensive player. You want to be more than a one-dimension player and be an offensive threat every time you handle it.
No basket, no!
Brooks. Williams was wide open that time off the ball, but the Clippers didn't see him. They had one thing in mind, and that was trying to get the ball to Brooks. And I want to talk about that point because that's been a bugaboo for the Clippers all year. Timeout. LA 86, the Clippers 79. And we will return to Thursday night NBA basketball on the USA Network.
Well, you know, Eddie, the Lakers have been able to get back in their running attack, and that's what makes them such a successful basketball team. Paul Silas now during this timeout must tell his basketball team, one, they have to make the transition. They've got to try to get themselves a better shot than that quick jumper from the outside, or they could really find themselves looking down big numbers at the start of the fourth period.
The Clippers have led this game twice, once 3-2 and once 6-4. We told you earlier that it had only been once, but they have led it twice, whereas the Lakers have led it most of the night and by as many as 11. 86-79 now, 2:51. Again, we would like to remind you that on the USA Network, we've got some very exciting games coming up. and the remainder of the regular season. And then during the playoffs, we'll have many of those for you as well.
Well, Eddie, if you like hockey, one of the National Hockey League's oldest and most rabid rivalries resumes next Wednesday as the Boston Bruins take on the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden. USA Network will be at center ice for the opening face-off starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Ex-Rangers Rick Middleton and Brad Park face the Bruins, and the Rangers are led by high-scoring defenseman Ron Greschner and winger Anders Hegberg. Catch all the action Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
All right, we come back with Michael Brooks at the line. Mark it down. We have 2:51 to play here in the third period. Lakers, who took that last time out, will set the timeouts for you now. LA unofficially with 4 remaining, and the Clippers with 3 remaining. At the line, Michael Brooks. 86-80 by 6. Brooks with 9. Swen Nader is going to have to start scoring a little bit here for the Clippers. He was saddled with foul problems in the first half, and he has only scored 3 points for the night, and that is far below his normal production.
Well, in all fairness to Swen, they have not given him that many scoring opportunities in the second half as Freeman Williams makes the steal.
And he overlays under pressure by Nixon, and a follow-up rebound by Cooper. Down they come with a one-man advantage momentarily. Kareem comes across the lane. Nader tries to overplay. Cooper with a hanging banker. And it's now 88-81. There's Brooks in the lob. Off of Mike. 88-81.
Michael Brooks had a tough try there, and they've missed 2 transition hoops. And the Lakers come back and score 2 easy ones. One from Cooper and Magic Johnson on the inside.
90-81. 21 points now for Magic Johnson. 2 minutes to play in the third period. That's Brooks. And on the miss, he gets his own rebound off the deflection, and a follow-up again. They have 3 offensive tries, and Jabbar out of there. Gets it up to Magic Johnson. Cooper tries to lob to the big man, but he overlobbed, and Johnson all over the floor retrieves. Boy, he looks like he's in mid-season form. I don't see any ill effects from what he has had to go through this year. He looks terrific.
Well, you know, you talked about him coming back earlier, but I think they held him out a few extra days to make sure that he could come back and play with this kind of enthusiasm, ability, as we see Joe Bryant reach in, and the Lakers make some substitution. Magic Johnson goes out. Landsberger comes in the ball game. Brewer makes his first appearance. Jamal Wilkes back in. And when the Lakers made substitutions before, that's when they lost the momentum at the offensive end.
There's Jabbar. He gets in that deep, forget it. It's all over. Only way you can stop him right there is if you come out there with some kind of a front-end loader. 11-point lead again. That's the second time in the game they've led by 11. Smith to Williams. Good step-out defense by Nixon, but not enough. As Freeman Williams, who can shoot it, has now gotten the Clippers back to within 9, and he has 19. A blocking foul called. Lakers at 5, the Clippers at 4. They will go to the limit now. And the penalty situation in as we'll take another look at it.
Williams very frustrated by the call as he tried to really get down and play some strong defense against Norm Nixon in transition, but you've got to get to the little guys earlier.
(92-83) score. Phil Smith sneaks in that number 3 spot on the right side of the lane. What do you think about Bob McAdoo being waived by Detroit?
Well, I think that was an inevitable situation, but I think McAdoo still has a lot of basketball in him. He's been much maligned over the last year and a half, but he can still play. He's a scoring machine in his own right.
They say he may go to the New Jersey Nets. In fact, we were kind of expecting word on that today. Some said that perhaps today the Nets will try and pick him up, claim him. Strong board work by Swain, but he travels. Well, we're talking about the Nets and the possibility of McAdoo going there. Also some rumors with Larry Brown going there as the coach. We've already heard about Hubie Brown, but now the name of Tommy Heinsohn surfaces as the general manager and possibly coach, a dual position.
Well, I've heard, Tommy Heinsohn's name mentioned, but I would think if anybody has a lock on that job right now, it's Larry Brown.
Nixon all the way through the crowd. And what do we have?
3-second violation, I believe, on
Jim Brewer.
Jimmy Brewer.
Brewer just came in the game, just got on the floor, and they call him. And so Brewer who, because he has not played recently, looks like he's put on a little weight. Jabbar will go out. Jimmy Jones will come in and play the center position.
Brewer's the type of guy that could put on a little weight without that exercise because he doesn't miss a meal.
Freeman Williams. What concentration. You talk about these pro players. That time Freeman Williams had Cooper running straight out at him, and he's still concentrated on that hoop and dumped it from outside. 93-85 the score with 12 seconds in the third period. Norman Nixon. He's the Lester Landon on the floor. He's got the baton right now. He's orchestrating as they set up their last play of the period. Wilkes. And that is the end of 3. The Lakers 93, the Clippers 85. You're watching Thursday night NBA basketball on the USA Cable Network. The Lakers outscoring the Clippers in that third period by a total of 30-23. And at the end of 3 now, 93-85. My fine feathered friend. Look at here. What do you think he's doing?
Whatever it isn't obvious.
Is that his version of a chicken coop?
Laid an egg.
I think he left something for the fellas on the floor. 93-85. You know, last night, Steve, I had an opportunity to do a game in Boston between the Milwaukee team and Boston. And I tell you, Larry Bird is an absolute incredible talent. I've never seen a forward who sees the entire floor like he does and plays both ends of it, passes it, moves. If you ever have an opportunity, all you folks out there viewing, he's one fellow you want to watch, Larry Bird.
Well, Larry Bird, again, a very rare talent in his own right, and you know he doesn't get his just due in many cases because he doesn't have that charismatic personality, let's say, of Magic Johnson.
4 fouls now on Bryant as he got called there. 93-85 into Jones. Jones pretty good center in college at Marquette. Double triple and he may have traveled. Yes, sir. He's had that merry minuet going all night long, and he's been caught 2 of the 5 times.
Well, they bring Jerome Whitehead back in. They have not gotten any production out of Swin Nader tonight in the ball game, and so we'll see if Jerome Whitehead can come up with the same type of effort in this 12 minutes that he did in the initial 15 that he had.
Michael Brooks comes off, and in comes Gar Hurd with that headband.
You know, Brooks played a strong third period going to the boards very well, came up with 6 points. They need defense and they need scoring to go along with it now.
93-85 with 11.5 to play in the game. There's Whitehead, the muscular youngster, and deflected by Jones as he flattens out on the pass. That's a mistake. Wilkes travel with the ball, maybe? Nope, foul before he came down. Mike Mathis, the official, making the call. And all of a sudden, the action is kind of bogged down.
Well, that turnover was caused by an errant pass from Jerome Whitehead, and Wilkes doing the smart thing, pushing the ball up the court. You get a reaching in violation before the Lakers get in the shooting area.
Norman Nixon. There's Jamal Wilkes. Wilkes trying to look for a screen from Brewer. He backed off. Oh, that was a tough shot. You know, his sister is his agent. She's a lawyer, and she has acted as his agent negotiating his contracts. From Santa Barbara, California. Brian Taylor. Joe Bryant.
The difference in the ball game is that San Diego's had to take some very tough shots to stay even. The Lakers have been shooting some easy offensive tries as we see Jerome Whitehead go to work again on the offensive board.
That was a great pass, if that's what it was. It was a scoop shot that missed everything. It was air special. Right into the hands of Whitehead, who went up and laid it in. 95-87. Wilkes. Silky smooth. Say, did you see where the Clippers settled that suit on the Walton issue? Got back over $1,250,000.
Well, they needed money very badly, and of course that's good news for them, as Lloyd's of London had to cough up a little bit of loose change.
Well, that's going to help this franchise. They've been struggling at the gate. One of the lesser attendance averages in the NBA. 97-89. Here's Nixon. Brian Taylor on him. Wheeling around from Cooper to Jamal Wilkes. And Wilkes has really been taking charge in the shooting. Jones with a follow. You notice the way these pros use their bodies so well. They take that ball into the crowd, and they use the body to protect the ball on the way up very, very well.
An excellent offensive rebound that time by Jimmy Jones. He gets 2 points to go along with the 7 that hit earlier, so he has 9 points in the ball game.
10-point lead, LA, 9:45, and that's Freeman Williams. Freeman Williams has rolled it up 23 times tonight, 23 points. There's Nixon.
That's the kind of shots they got to make them take. Eventually, they're going to miss. That's a tough shot. Nixon buries it.
There's a guy that is among the leaders in the NBA in assists. Last year, he had about Well, in fact, exactly 7.8 assists per game this year, over 8. He had 13 the other night, and tonight he shows you can shoot as well. Norm Nixon.
Jerome
Whitehead. 101 to 93. 9:08 to play in the ball game. Paul Silas off the bench for the Clippers.
Certainly with this lineup that the Lakers have in, they can be competitive, and this is a good chance for the Clippers to get back into the game with the offensive end. They get a turnover on Jimmy Jones. He traveled again.
Jimmy's been doing a lot of that. He may not be aware of it, Steve, but it is apparent as you look at Magic Johnson, who has had a chance to get a little respite. He'll replace Norman Nixon. 101 to 93. 8:54. A brief reprieve, they say, for Magic Johnson.
Like I said, you are sharp tonight, Eddie. They
like
turn the ball over.
Got a loose ball foul call right here. And it'll be called on who? It'll be called on Brian Taylor.
You see, they're trying to make a pass out here to Brian Taylor. That pass from Freeman Williams is a little too hot for Taylor to handle. Cooper goes on the floor. Taylor comes over the top. The Lakers want a timeout.
We have a break. A timeout with 8:43 to play in the ball game. The Lakers 101, the Clippers 93. This is NBA basketball on the USA Network.
Al, Eddie, you and I will be back here to watch these same San Diego Clippers take on Joe Barry, Carroll Bernard King, and the Golden State Warriors in the nightcap of another Thursday night NBA doubleheader next week on USA Network. We'll be on the air at 8 p.m. Eastern with an opening match between Chicago and Cleveland, and there should be plenty of fast-breaking action. Tune in next week at 8 p.m. Eastern to catch it all on USA Network.
And we might remind our viewers that there's a youngster on that Golden State team that Steve Jones has worked a lot with. His name is Larry Smith. He's the NBA Player of the Week last week.
Oh, if I could take any credit for that fella's ability to go to the offensive board, I'd be the first one to jump. Hallelujah.
I want to give you some numbers on him if we have a chance. He was incredible at 71 rebounds in 4 games last week, including 23 against Portland last Sunday night. Ball deflected loose on the miss. Breakaway Magic. Uh-oh. He came down hard. Those are the kind of things that scare you a little bit. He comes up off that leg. He seems to be all right.
Well, I think Magic just a little bit upset knowing that he was going to have an easy try. Brian Taylor chasing him all the way. He's trying to say, well, why did I have to get the foul? Took a pretty good shot as he went to the floor.
He's getting a good test on that leg tonight. I don't see any problems at all. You know, he's, of course, fearful every time he turns the wrong way, I'm sure. That man has got an incredible future ahead of him. He wants to take a little extra time and go over here. He's going to take a 20-second timeout. I don't know whether he's hurting or not.
Well, he's acting upset right now. I don't know whether it's his arm or his leg.
I think it's his elbow. I think he fell on that elbow, and he's being examined by trainer Jack Curran.
Oh, you see him going in. Now watch Brian Taylor come in trying to make the block. This is going to be a tough try for Brian. He has no angle. Magic Johnson will come down. Looks like he braces, and then he bangs that elbow on the hardwood.
You know, he has a sister, they tell me, is an absolutely outstanding basketball talent. She is, where'd she go, to South Carolina?
She's in South Carolina.
Evelyn Johnson. And I guess that they have had some pretty good one-on-one games. Back in Lansing, Michigan. 104 to 93 the score of the ball game. The Clippers trailing it by 11 for the 3rd time. And time is not an ally right now, as it is down to 8 minutes to play in it. Green pops through the middle. Defensively on Whitehead. And Joe Bryant, who says, I hit the shot, but Mike Mathis, Wilkes fouled me. No help there. 22 points for Bryant. Here's Cooper.
They've got to keep the Lakers pushing the ball up from the outside right there and try to get rebound attempts from Jerome Whitehead like they did as he sprints up the floor.
Phil Smith. All right, I'm surprised they sagged off of him and gave him that outside shot. At one time, Phil Smith could go to the basket as well as any guard in the league, and in addition, shoot that little nice outside J. He had that Achilles surgery, lost a little bit, but tonight he seems to have regained much of it.
Well, he still shoots the ball well as the Lakers try to come inside. They almost force a turnover.
Johnson. Whitehead, and a loose ball foul by Abdul-Jabbar.
The crowd of some 13,000 plus responds as Jerome Whitehead has played an excellent ball game tonight. We can't give enough credit to the effort that Whitehead has made. We see Magic Johnson putting the ball up from the outside. A good attempt from him,
Really
just off the front rim.
nice game by Whitehead for sure. You said that right. Young man had 10 rebounds at halftime. Whitehead to Phil Smith, played by Magic Johnson. On the come around, Freeman tries to drop it off, and Jabbar got in the middle of it all. Here's Nixon over Smith. Backhands it up. Fought for, that's Jamal Wilkes. A lot of big, graceful bodies trying to get that little ball in that basket. Landsberger can't hang on. Magic Johnson gave him a one that was a little bit too hot to handle. And it's 104-97. Lakers, and their lead is 7 with 6:43 to play in the game. Talked about Larry Smith, 18 rebounds in 4 games, averaged 13 points, 56%. And Joe Bryant, he might be a candidate for that honor this week if he keeps playing like this. The NBA Player of the Week, 24 points for Joe Bryant.
Now, again, they're 5 points down. Plenty of time left in the ball game. We'll see the Lakers come inside. Too easy.
Too deep. Got to front him if he's going to get on that. You've got to try and deny him position first. Once he gets that position, try and deny him the ball. But if he's got position on the ball, forget it. There's none better than the King. Home run, jump shot attempt. No. And that may have come a little early. There's Nixon. And Nixon taking it right to the defense. Boy, that's tough to stop a man when he's going that kind of speed toward the other end. You don't know where he's coming from, and he draws it off the glass.
If you can't get to a little quick guy early, he's got you backpedaling. He's going to turn you around. You got no chance of stopping him without a foul.
Bryant gets the foul this time. Jamal Wilkes, 108-99 with 5:39 to play in the game. And Joe Bryant will go to the free throw line on this foul.
Well, you see Joe Bryant getting the screen out high. Jamal Wilkes trying to come by and make a block, gets a piece of the elbow. Bryant has a chance to score from the free throw line. Clippers down by 9 with 5:39 here in the final period of play.
On that last play, you saw the 2-on-2 game. You saw Jabbar start to step up. He exposed and then dropped back, which enabled Bryant to get the shot away after the defender fought over the pick by Jerome Whitehead. And that was Jamal Wilkes, but Wilkes fouled Bryant. He gets the first of 2. 108-100 to score the basketball game. Jelly Bean Joe Bryant, 6'9½", 221 pounds from LaSalle, 6 years in the league. Bryant, at times brilliant, and at other times very enigmatic. He has been a puzzle. Nixon. Has he made some tough shots tonight or what?
Well, they may be tough for someone else, but I guess they're just routine for Norm Nixon as he hits that fadeaway jumper again.
I couldn't draw that shot if I had to. That was a 17 point for the night. That was a fabulous move by Nixon. Freeman Williams on a 3-pointer. He's got it. So he and Brian Taylor now with a 3-pointer. And that makes it 110-104 with just under 5 to play. Another tough shot. Boy, oh boy, the shooting is just incredible here. 112-104. Wilkes with 27 points.
A very quiet 27
Very quiet.
points, too. Again, underrated. No one really notices the job he's getting done out there.
That's Phil Smith.
Ooh, it's heating up, Eddie.
Boy, I tell you. They're shading Smith, and that time he got just a bit of an opening, and that's 112-106 with 4.5 to play.
And it's heating up from deep in the perimeter. They try to come inside. Kareem doesn't control.
But they save it well, and Magic Johnson will take it to the house. That's that little hip hook. She carries it in through the paint that time and lays it in. 114-106. Gar Hurd. Underneath, nice pass, Whitehead. Well, that was a good look in that time by Hurd, the veteran. 114-108. Hurd, drafted originally by Seattle, many fine years with Phoenix, and this year came over here. So the former Oklahoma U product, and it's a timeout call with the Lakers 114 and the Clippers 108. You're watching Thursday Night NBA Basketball on the USA Network.
Well, Eddie, I'll tell you, I don't think you could get the shooting any hotter than with a blowtorch, and it's all coming from deep on the perimeter. We've seen some very difficult shots go down. The San Diego Clippers, of course, have to keep the Lakers putting up those tough tries from the outside, hope that they can get them to miss a few, get the ball, push it up the court, and get some easy tries themselves, as they're within 6 points with 4 minutes to go, plenty of time.
114 to 108 is the score of the basketball game here. The Los Angeles Lakers hanging on with 4:02 to play as the Lakers try to get their playoff express in full gear. And the way Magic Johnson is playing, they have come back. Boy, what a job they have done here tonight. LA, a team that last year won it all. They trail Phoenix in the Pacific by 4.5 games coming into this one. Four minutes and 2 seconds to play in the basketball game. Remember, we will have a post-game guest, our star of the game player, on our NBA replay show right here on the USA Network. So we certainly hope you'll join us, and remind you again that next week Steve and I will be right back here for another game as our Thursday night doubleheader series continues. And it will continue for you through the playoffs. Got a chance to see some of the great early playoff rounds right here on the USA Network. 114-108, Los Angeles, that is led by as many as 11. They've yo-yoed back and forth from about 5 or 6 to 11 throughout most of the game, and they lead right now by 11 points.
Well, San Diego really, Eddie, has not been able to control the tempo for any extended period of time. They fought to get back into basketball game, came out at the top of the third period, let it slip away. They fought an uphill battle. They find themselves still chugging uphill with the Lakers in possession.
Jamal Wilkes, Magic Johnson played on by Joe Bryant. 6'9.5" against 6'9". Jabbar, deep hook, Whitehead. Boy, has that kid done a nice job tonight. He really has played well. His plans this summer, work on his game.
Well, I don't think you have any other choice if you're Jerome Whitehead and you want to stay in the league. He's got the tremendous body. He's just got to improve some of that raw talent.
He pops clear. They don't see him. The Clippers are not looking to see what's happening, and that was a point we wanted to get on to before. As Wilkes puts it in, boy, they run that break beautifully. That's what you call a drop, leave, feed. This is something we started to talk about earlier, Steve. San Diego's had a problem all year long. When they run their option offense, where they have 1 or 2 plays, they don't have the ability to look beyond the first option. And for the main, they have had to drop most of their option plays and go to a very simple 1-play set each time down. Phil Smith hits. And that is something, as they mature as a team, they're going to have to look to, because the good teams, if that first option breaks down, they have a second and third, and the good ones can go down the line and pull it off effectively. 116 to 110. LA with the lead. Kareem deep, foul. Whitehead. Or is it on Jabbar? An offensive foul. Jerome Whitehead is really probably
Kareem really upset because he had to fight to get the position. We'll see him come inside, and right now they call the foul. He can't believe it. He thought he had the whistle. San Diego with an excellent opportunity here.
116-110. Jabbar has had a pretty good night's work out of the young Jerome Whitehead. As Smith goes weak side high, they give it to Garherd. Almost a foul, blocked by Michael Cooper. Dug out of there by Jamal Wilkes. They'll slow it down. They've got this game pretty well controlled as far as tempo is concerned. 2:28 Wilkes with a rhythm bounce. And that is Michael Cooper, 6'6". He's also a guard forward type. They have nice versatility. And they have people on the end of their bench that they don't even draw upon. And out of bounds it goes.
They throw that one away. Kareem put his hand up to ask for the ball up in the air, and Nixon gave him a bounce pass. He wasn't ready to handle it. Let's see if in this possession the Clippers might sneak and try for a quick 3 from the outside.
LA with 16 turnovers, the Clippers 13. Unofficial numbers. Smith, good penetration. Freeman over the top of Kareem. Follow-up tip on his own missed shot. No. Magic. Drop, lead, feed wildly out toward the middle and almost pulled it off. Nixon on Bryant. And Nixon will back it up with less than 2 to play and a 6-point Laker lead. But a crowd in excess of 13,000 have had a good show here tonight. Kareem. And so Abdul-Jabbar with 22 points in the basketball game. Make it 23. And Jabbar, who has had 294 straight games where he's been in double figures, has done it again tonight. We have 1 minute and 34 seconds to play in the basketball game. The Lakers won 18 and the Clippers won 10. Eddie Doucette and Steve Jones. And here comes the chicken with one of his little bits that he pulls off. This is part of his repertoire. Let's watch it. What do you suppose he's up to, Steve Jones? What do you suppose he's up to?
There's no telling as he comes out in his space outfit.
Man has got an act, doesn't he? He's going to come over here and try and put the hex on the Lakers. Lakers not reacting, are they? Well, let's see if it works.
Well, you know, in that last possession that the Clippers had, it looked like they wanted to get Freeman Williams to go from the outside and possibly a three-pointer. And he decided to come inside and challenge the defense and ended up with nothing as the chicken finally ends up with Mike Mathis, and the crowd here really appreciates that.
Let's talk about a couple of things that have happened in the NBA. Moses Malone had a career high of 51 points last night as Houston beat Golden State. Golden State now has lost 2 in a row, and their chances are starting to slim down a little bit in that fight for the last 2 spots in the Western Conference, with Portland, Golden State, and Kansas City really battling it out.
Well, I think all Golden State has to do now is get back home. They lost the game tonight, which is very crucial to them, but they also will have Lloyd Free returning sometime within the next week or so, and their chances of improving and getting back into that playoff picture are excellent with his return.
Talked a little bit about the Celtics. They've got quite an attendance story going in Boston. 21 sellouts this year and 17 in a row. They've won 27 straight games at home as Joe Bryant misses. Jabbar, and he knocks into Bryant. We've got a backcourt foul, I believe. And it's going to be just that. We'll see it again. And Kareem happy because he got a call.
Well, Bryant with the tough try here, and the ball is going to come out and long. Jerome Whitehead trying to come over the top, doesn't get to it. Kareem finally gets control of the ball. He wheels, and Joe Bryant trying to draw the foul right there. Pretty good job of acting by Joe, because if he'd have gotten hit with one of those elbows, he might have been laid out for a count of 10.
118 to 110 is the score of the basketball game. 124 to play in it. Abdul-Jabbar at the line. See where the Knicks were held, only 32 points in the second half by the 76ers last night. And they say that the Sixers don't play awesome defense. That's pretty good defense right there. Probably a combination of not too good shooting, but of course the defense has a lot to do with that.
Well, the 76ers can really get after you in the backcourt with Hollins, Tony, and Cheeks, and they can make it very difficult for a young basketball team like the Knicks to get into their offense.
120 to 110, 10-point Laker lead. Phil Smith to Bryant. They triangle it up on the right side. Freeman Williams is outside the three-point line and now moves down underneath low left.
Foul by Mike Cooper. That's a second team foul. Not a bad foul by Michael Cooper. He doesn't want Phil Smith to even get a chance to get into the shooting motion. You'll see Cooper come right over and get him while he's still on the ground.
Well, here now is LA working on some things that they want to try and experiment with here going toward the playoffs. With fouls to take, they decided to use one there against a man that would probably cause some damage. Gar Hurd. And they're sagging off of Hurd and giving him everything open. 120 to 112. Gar Hurd played college ball under John McLeod, the Phoenix coach, and played for him several years in Phoenix. Magic. And he's fouled. And Freeman Williams is not happy with that call. 120 to 112. Magic Johnson.
Well, Freeman comes over very late. He gets cracked across the jaw, and he thinks that he got fouled. Johnson banged him pretty good, then his own man, Joe Bryant, hit him. Now Eddie Jordan makes his first appearance in the ball game. 52 seconds left to go.
Eddie Jordan was picked up at the time Magic Johnson went down with the injury. And at the time that it happened, everybody said what a magnificent addition he was, and he was that. He did a good job. Jordan's a fine ball handling guard who came from the New Jersey Nets for a future draft choice, and out of Rutgers, a 4-year guy. Got a #1 pick in '82 to New Jersey for him on the 20th of November. On the missed shot over there, here's Jordan. He gets it up to Magic Johnson. Rejected by Phil Smith with 39 seconds to play in the game.
Well, I think Magic Johnson had thoughts of really taking that one over the top. Then he remembered how he'd gotten hammered the last time down, so he laid it up gently. Phil Smith, with a great hustle from behind, deflects the ball out of bounds.
Abdul-Jabbar, who's among the leaders in block shots in the NBA, had to appreciate that. He does it with regularity every night, over 3 a game.
Well, the Lakers are just going to volleyball the ball around now. They have time on their side. Eddie Jordan out to Kareem.
This is what Jabbar likes. He likes to handle the ball. He used to have a lot of fun. And there he is right there. He'll put it down, and he'll say, hey, you little guys, you think you're so good, I can do the same thing.
Well, you know what they say about every 7-footer. Inside lives a 6-footer just dying to get out.
I'll tell you what, I don't know too much about what the 7-footers are thinking, because when you're down as low as I am, all you can do is read about those fellas. Although if they ever take the wrinkles out of my neck, who knows? I'd reach up there about 6'8", huh?
Yeah, you might stretch up there a little bit.
121, 112, 24 seconds to play in the game. Eddie Doucette, Steve Jones, Abdul-Jabbar right there with his 25th and 26 points of the basketball game. He's also missed 4 free throws, 10 for 14. Whitehead. You give that young man a lot of credit. He's done well. Swen has not had a good night. Got
There's your
fouled.
man handling the ball again.
There he is right there. 122 to 114. Abdul-Jabbar trying to tricky dribble the ball. I think he learned that at Powers Memorial High School in New York. 12 seconds. Brad Holland, who came in. They double him up. He wants to get in and try a shot. He's their three-point threat. And he was wrapped up, almost even caressed over there by Phil Smith and one of his teammates. 122, 114 with 7 seconds. We will have a star of the game on our replay show. Paul Westhead talking to the end of his bench. Here's where the coaches get a chance to do a little reminding of what's happening. 3-point lean in. Ooh, he got it. Gar Hurd with a 3-point leaner. And the final score of the basket. Now they only going to give him 2. Oh, all right. Well, we almost had one for you, Gar. Final score of the game, the Lakers 122 and the Clippers 116. We'll be back with a wrap-up word for you in just a minute on the USA Network. The Lakers with a win, 122-116. Jamal Wilkes with a big night. He was outstanding. He had 29. And with Steve Jones, here's Jamal Wilkes.
Well, Eddie Doucette, you know, we're with the guy tonight, the star of the game, Jamal Wilkes. It seems like Jamal never gets enough credit. Tonight, a very quiet 29 points, if we can describe it as that. But Jamal, with Magic Johnson back, it seemed as though you were looking to really get out and run tonight.
Yeah, Steve, that's one of the readjustments I had to make, and one that I happily wanted to make, is when you have Magic and then Norm, who's also a very fine passer. I know that if I get out there, if I move, if I get open, that they'll get it to me.
Well, now you started the ball game off, and it looked like that's what you wanted to do as a team. Get out, push the ball up the court. That's when the Lakers seemed to play best, and we saw some flashes of it. And then you seemed to be content to just sit around an 8 or 10-point lead. Was that because Paul Westhead was trying to keep everybody fresh?
I think we just got a little stagnant. He kind of jumped on us at halftime, you know, and said that we had really opened up well with the fast break and the defense. And the second quarter, we kind of relaxed, and San Diego played a very fine ball game tonight. You know, they played well tonight, and so we tried to come out and pick up the tempo again in the second half, and I think that's what kind of got us going.
Well, Jamal, we have a couple of shots of you going to the basket. We'll take a look right out here. Jamal Wilkes handling the ball. Let's see what you do as a broadcaster. Describe the play.
Okay, Coop passed it to me on the baseline, and Gar kind of hesitated coming out on me, so I just pulled up and shot the shot real quick. And usually when I just shoot it in rhythm, you know, I have pretty good success.
It's not bad. We'll get you in the same class with Bill Russell on that description. You know, now Paul Westhead might have been pretty hot at halftime because he was still upset at the officials, wasn't he, about that last play at the end, and maybe that's one of the reasons he jumped on you pretty good.
That's true. He kind of was in a room by himself for a few minutes, kind of letting off steam, and I think he came in and let it off on us some more.
Well, I know that the Lakers are now thinking about a chance to go back and defend their championship and be the first team, as we'll take another look at another Jamal Wilkes play, and you describe it again.
Okay, here's Irvin coming down, doing what he does best, and he penetrates. I saw him look at me. He gave it to me. There were 2 men. I didn't know how to shoot it, so I went around Phil and shot it underhand and hit it off the glass.
Oh, he does what he does best. Give you the ball and you figure out a way how to score. Huh? Well, all right, Jamal, it's always nice to talk with you. You're having a sensational season. Much good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you, Steve. And Butch Carter told me to say hello to his parents. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Carter.
All right, let's go back to Eddie Doucette.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. We'll take a look at the leading scores. First of all, for the Los Angeles Lakers, it was a great effort by Jamal Wilkes, the man you just heard from, 29. Magic Johnson with 27 points. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a total of 26. On the other side, for the Clippers, it was a nice effort by Joe Bryant with 26 points. It was 26 for Freeman Williams and 122 for Phil Smith. And let's give credit here to Jerome Whitehead for a very, very fine game. The Lakers, incidentally, for the game, 62% from the floor on 48 of 77. The Clippers, not bad, 51 of 96, 53%. And the Lakers out rebounding the San Diego Clippers unofficially, 37 to 22, 17 turnovers to 14. So there it is. Final score of the basketball game was the Los Angeles Lakers 122, the San Diego Clippers 116, and I think they have put the final nail in the coffin as far as the Clipper playoff chances are concerned.
Well, the Clippers certainly have a tough uphill struggle. They'd have to win everything, and they'd have to have collapse by Golden State, Portland, or Kansas City in order for them to sneak in that final playoff position. That's going to be very difficult for them.
Tonight's game has been brought to you by Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Mobil 1, the oil that saves your gas, and more. For our producer, Jim Zrake, our director, John Ripsinski, our associate director, Tommy Fick, and for Steve Jones, this is Eddie Doucette saying good night from the sports arena in San Diego, California.